That's Sean Patton.
Hi, that's Caton Cook.
Hi. And this is the podcast where we have a guest on and they're about to tell us a story and we say, wait, before you do that, why don't you tell us 5 keywords from that story? And then we tell them what we think the story is. And we nail it.
It's really just, we should call this story home run derby.
Really,
that's just what's happening.
It's true. We totally nail it every time, and then they tell us the real story, which can get repetitive, as you'll see.
I mean, and also I realize that sometimes sarcasm doesn't come across as well as you think it will in a recording. So we're being pretty sarcastic. We never get it right.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
We've never once. This is episode 32.
Yeah.
Not once have we gotten it right.
But what we do get right is our guests. This one, our guest, his name is Chad Daniels.
Daniels.
A fantastic, the epitome of a true touring independent comedian.
Very true.
Lives in the woods in Minnesota. No shit.
Yep.
And is still funnier than most people who step up to a microphone.
Is funny enough to continue to live in the woods
Still
and have a successful career.
Yeah. And has also been around, seen some shit. Wonderful guy, amazing comedian, and quite the goddamn episode, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Quite the story. And also, we recorded this episode in the green room at the fantastic ACME Comedy Club.
Yes. In the episode, he talks about how his first credit ever was that he was part of a Mitch Hedberg joke.
Yeah.
So you'll hear that, and then you hear us talk about the lamp in the room, which, by the way, I did fact check myself on. Mitch Hedberg didn't find the lamp on the street. He brought it from his hotel room because he didn't like the lighting in the green room at ACME, which is a comedy club in Minneapolis. So there's a lamp in the room now that doesn't work anymore, but they've kept it because it's Mitch Hedberg's lamp.
Where are you going to be this week?
This week, actually tonight, when this episode drops, Tuesday, December 17th, I have The Good God Show. It's my monthly show that I run with Shane Torres, Tom Takar, and Phoebe Bottoms, and it's going to be a killer lineup. I mean, we have Corinne Fisher, Dan St. Germain, Emmy Blotnick, Stephen Castillo, Dylan Adler, but also we have some killer secret names that I am not even allowed to announce, but I cannot believe these people are going to be on my show. It's insane. Okay, so I can't say their names, but I can give you some hints, some credits, right? Okay, one of them, he's British. He has a regular show on HBO named after him, and we all know who he is. Crazy. The other one was a regular on Saturday Night Live. She's been in a bunch of movies and has a hit podcast with her best friend. Big deal. Seriously. So you should come out 8 p.m. Bushwick, the Sultan Room. Get your tickets. Do it. What about you?
I will be on the West Coast Thursday, December 19th at the Irvine Improv. Myself, Ryan O'Flanagan from the those dumb tourist videos on Funny or Die. Fucking hilarious.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah.
And Jeffrey Balding are hosting. But Irvine Improv, Thursday, December 19th. Also, my album, it dropped last week. I didn't mention it on the podcast because I'm shy, but I'm not anymore. It's called Scuttlebutt. It's available absolutely everywhere. It's been out for 6 days now. Give it a listen.
6 days, it already has
Don't.
So many streams.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
He's being shy.
I'm being shy.
3 million.
I'm being very modest.
3 million.
No, stop.
I won't be shy. I made the artwork.
All right, yeah. Caitlin made the artwork. It's fantastic, and listen to it because you like comedy, and listen to this episode for the same reasons.
Enjoy Chad Daniels. If you want to see him, he'll be in Providence, Rhode Island at the Comedy Connection for New Year's, and then he has a whole slew of dates on his website, which I built. So go check it out. Check him out. He's got an amazing special called Dad Chaniels, which I think might be in the top 10 best titles.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
For comedy specials and most funny comedy specials. So come to our shows, go check him out, and enjoy the episode. It is a really, really fun one.
Do it.
Okay, bye.
To it. And landed.
Yeah.
Here we are on planet 5 words. It's only a matter of time, by the way, before a podcast gets so popular. Maybe it's ours, maybe it's other podcasts.
That they have their own planet?
They become a ride.
Oh, no.
Or a restaurant.
That sounds...
Oh.
This is our guest, by the way. I
know I'm not supposed to talk until I'm introduced, but I come from old school.
You right away because I don't like
Yeah.
People sitting there feeling like they can't talk.
Some we've noticed some podcasts out there like to hold their guest hostage to their own whimsy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, to the you're a hostage of the host's riffing. We don't do that here.
I refuse to be held hostage. So
I
I jump right in. People are like, who's that?
Yeah.
And we still don't know.
And exactly. Sometimes we, in fact, let you talk the whole time, and people just won't know who you are.
I'd like to be the anonymous guest.
Yeah.
We never acknowledge who you are.
We should start a spin-off podcast in which we have a guest, but we never allow them to speak.
You should call it SEAL Team 6.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
it.
Where they're just there
Every,
lurking.
every podcast is only available for 24 hours after it's been recorded. This is my favorite, I mean this, my favorite comedian who's ever lived in Minnesota, not in a major city, but also just one of the best in the game, the one and only Chad Daniels.
Yeah.
Well, hello.
We're coming at you hot from the green room in ACME, which is actually blue.
It's a blue room.
Yeah, they switched it up. So that used to be the color. So in front of us is a big grid. It's a framed grid on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the original green room color. So once they painted it, people signed the entire wall, and now these are the only spots you're allowed to sign are these grids.
Wait, that is kind of green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never
It's a
noticed
We'll
the
take a
green.
picture.
We'll take a picture.
And that's back when people were, smoking inside nonstop. You couldn't
Yeah.
even see. You had to feel your way around in here.
It's funny because the wall, the signatures are divided by year, right? There's columns.
Right.
And it's funny looking, like you see a lot of repeat names.
Yep.
And then you see a couple that are like, oh, that person, I wonder whose agent someone owed a favor to there.
But you only see him 1 year.
Yeah, like 1 year.
So you can see him like 2007. Oh, there they are. They came back a little later in 2009, and then that's the last time.
Yeah. Or like once in 2013. Yeah, just once. And I heard stories about why they were never invited back.
Must have been a bringer show.
Yeah. That's
The only signature. Oh no, that's a lie. That on the earliest year, 2007. They're all so messy that the only ones I recognize are Chris Fairbanks and Todd Glass. Everyone
Sure.
else is just like a messy.
You don't
signature.
see Emo Phillips?
Oh, I do see Emo Phillips.
No, if you go right above
Yeah.
Todd Glass in that left column, that's me.
Oh, well, you fixed up your signature for 2009 because I can tell that it's.
I was
over
told that I needed to get the letters going. Now I happen to know that Sean's middle name's Oliver.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he used 4 of the fucking spaces
Four spaces.
to sign
there.
his entire name and then
Sean
draw
Oliver
a
Patton.
picture.
In
The first.
that was 2015, and I was on an ego trip. I'm not going to lie about that. I wanted the world to know my name. And then, of course, you see the next year, where am I? Oh, I'm at the very bottom, sloppy drunk, and I signed twice still. Like an ass. Jesus, I am an asshole.
Same thing of 2014, except you did it in cursive with some feet.
Yeah. And then, of course, in 2013 with a little rocket ship. I had a weird few years where I was...
You were
where I
all
was-
about
using your
feet.
middle name?
Yeah,
Feet
where I
and
wanted
rocket
to...
ships.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to be very thespian about my stage name, become Sean Oliver Patton. Chad, what's your middle name? Are you comfortable releasing that information?
Sure, Steven.
Okay, man. All right.
What?
V?
What's that?
V or a PH?
V.
Oh, damn, dude.
It's technically, so I changed it when I got married because when you get married, they say you can change your name for free. Otherwise, it's very expensive because you're doing all these name changing documents anyways. And so I did change it to Danger because I thought that'd be really funny.
Chad Danger Daniels?
Yeah, but I still go by like Chad Steven on important documents because I don't want to sit there and have to explain why I changed my middle name to Danger.
That makes sense.
So there is an alternate existence where you are the comedian Danger Daniels.
Well, I sure hope not.
And you're up there just getting crazy.
Just a lot of loud noises and falling.
Just audiences bringing what they want to see you put in your mouth.
Oh, no.
Hey, if you
Is
bring
this poison?
Danger Daniels, anything you bring, he'll either eat it or beat himself with it until you're done laughing. Danger Daniels. That's one day when you're bored crushing it as yourself and you come up with your own,
You need a new character.
like when you come up with a character, when it's your Larry the Cable Guy time.
Sure.
Danger Daniels.
I'm thinking I might go with Steve-O with a PH.
Oh.
That would confuse so many people. Like, who the fuck is Steffo? And you're like, if you can't pronounce it, you don't get it. That's the real Steve-O, bro. Yeah, this club is pretty amazing. And I know when they were about Acme Comedy Club, in my opinion, arguably the best, one of the best, if not the best comedy club in the country. I love it. Mm-hmm. And when they were going to possibly move a couple years ago, this section of the wall that you can see on our Instagram, they were going to cut it out. You remember that?
Yeah.
They're going to cut this out because it's got years of just names and history and signing after a night. You sign at the end of the run on a Saturday night after you've been drinking with the staff for 3 to 4 hours. Mm-hmm. So that's why some signatures, myself specifically, are just inspired by complete tomfoolery.
Yeah.
Now, as someone who does not live in a major city, but near one, lately, like, we were just in Eau Claire.
Okay.
I'm obsessed with it.
Yes.
The idea of living in a city, living in a place, but outside of a major city.
Sure.
Like, it's pretty, because I don't want to just throw the question of, like, it's pretty great, right? But I want to be specific. Like, you have a home with space and a yard.
Yep.
And do you feel like there's a couple of days a week, maybe one, maybe when you're not on the road, where you can just detach?
Oh, I do that all the time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you're just sort of like, here I am. Life is just, it's quiet. You have a dog?
I don't, because I'm gone too much.
Okay.
But when I do have a daughter and a son.
And a son.
My son's at college.
Right.
But when I get home on Sundays, my daughter switches from her mom's to my house. And then we, as soon as I shut the door, like all the bullshit that happened during the week
It's gone.
It's gone because I hit the ground running. I'm like helping with homework, cooking dinner, all that stuff.
How old is she?
She's 15.
Nice.
15.
Yeah.
Are you all right?
No, she's my youngest one.
Oh.
Time is ticking away.
Oh
I'm
my
like
God.
have very few grains of sand in the hourglass.
Yeah.
Do you mean to have another kid or till she's out of the house?
Till she's out of the house.
Okay,
Because I don't. I'm done. I'm all snipped up.
Okay.
Shit.
So I think now I'm. I just another good reason to live not in a city is because I also just bought a lake cabin.
Yes.
But it's and it's Minnesota. There are 10,000 lakes, so
Yeah.
I know it sounds.
Why
cool.
not get one of them?
It sounds cool,
Yeah.
but I've started making decisions based on potential grandchildren.
See?
Because I might be Jesus, I can't even say it out loud, but I might be a grandpa soon.
That's very cool.
Wait, is that from Intel or just?
No. I mean,
Okay.
my son's 20. And
Okay, yeah.
He lies on Tinder, so I'm sure it's eventually going to happen.
Fair.
He goes to a 2-year community college, but if you check his Tinder, he is a student at the University of North Dakota.
Sure.
Why that one? If he was gonna lie,
Because it's the same town.
Okay.
That's why,
Yeah. You're like shooting yourself in the foot if you're like, no, I go to Yale.
Yeah.
I'm just always in town.
I chop her out to Harvard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just always here, hanging out with you beautiful women. North Dakota also has. I've actually never been in North Dakota. We were in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Okay.
Where I think
Great places, great faces.
great places, great faces. I think the ratio men to women is like 70 to 30, or it's like a 70-30 split.
In one of the Dakotas. That's
Yeah, like where it's like almost over twice as many men.
I would
As
absolutely believe that.
Yeah.
Because I remember we were there after a show and talking to like these 3 girls at the bar and I noticed us getting just like mean mugged by every dude in the bar. Mm-hmm. And the bartender was finally like, "Yeah, man, you've just polluted the pool." He was funny about it, but he was like, "Yeah, you're 2 more guys in a city full of guys."
All the
I was
women,
like,
yeah.
"What? No, we're just chatting." But here, sorry. But then what do you do in that situation? Like, "Oh, sorry, men, have your women back." Or be like,
yeah.
You guys going to get out of here? You guys just get in the car. We'll just go to another town.
To a safer town.
Because I think about, we've talked about this, the idea of, like you said, lake cabin. Like, I think about, like, if the shit goes down, if society crumbles, if climate change is real, I mean, I think it's real, and if it gets worse, like, it's going to get to a point where like the cities are going to be chaotic and the coasts are going to be worse. And like somewhere in the the away from a major city up in the north is probably where you want to be.
I would say so. I mean, people will come over and they'll be like, "Oh my God, you should have been there. It was so horrible." And I just walk them 100 yards from my house and open a door in the floor, or the ground. Just like, "Here, come down here. This is where we keep our food." And
Go. There's a masseuse. Yeah. We have a full-time masseuse.
Really prepare for it.
Yeah.
That would be great. Everyone's always getting water and canned goods.
Yes. Right.
Why not a masseuse?
Why not a masseuse?
We need to relax during the apocalypse.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's because that's what I've had 5. Okay, my list is this: 1, close enough to a major city, yet far enough away from a major city.
Now, are you talking about apocalyptic?
I'm talking about a place to like settle down, and if the apocalypse happens.
Okay, both. Okay, gotcha.
And that's what Eau Claire checks those boxes for me.
Sure.
Because it's like an hour and a half from MSP in Minneapolis, and
Mm-hmm.
2, they're not bumpkins there in Eau Claire.
Right.
There's some pretty intelligent people, but there are enough bumpkins to where you could learn how to like make a crossbow.
Oh, there are
eat,
plenty.
Yeah, and like eat certain rodent that you wouldn't think of eating.
Yeah, they're like,
before.
let me put this craft beer down and get my great grandpa's journal. There's definitely remnants of it for sure.
There's a recipe for squirrel gravy.
Yes,
in here.
exactly.
That is a great weekly show, my great grandpa's journal.
Oh yeah,
where you just go on stage and read fucking read redneck writings.
I call it. What? I said I call it.
Yeah, you can have
it. It's not really a great idea when someone else goes, "Yeah, no, you can have it right
please
away."
take it, please take
They
it.
don't even fight it.
Nope.
Well, or it's too good of an idea, but it's so good of an idea that you're afraid to try it yourself. He's like, it's too risky. Let Daniels have a go, and
Great
then
grandpa was a Nazi. Oh God.
Yeah, let somebody who lives with people that will understand the journal.
yeah.
They get it.
Let's see how they feel about it first.
Exactly.
Also, anywhere where you're walking distance, you can buy land walking distance from downtown. I feel like most American cities, you cannot do that.
I see what you're saying.
Yep.
Yep.
And also, north, away from the coasts and closer to Canada than the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, so I do think it's going to be, like you said, major cities, the coasts, and then also where it's warm year round.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
Because it's summer 3 months of the year here.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can't handle that shit.
Dude.
I think we're looking good for zombies. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, zombies are not... We've seen how they walk on, like, dry pavement. Imagine trying to walk through black ice.
Yes.
Imagine a bunch of zombies trying to maneuver through slush.
It's like
And
towards
there's
the
a
end
lot of lakes. So
Yeah.
A lot of lakes, yeah.
Game of Thrones. Get in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Start shooting out the ice.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. I just don't, because I love my home city of New Orleans, and I love living in New York, but if shit keeps going the way it's going, both of those places are uninhabitable by the time, like, my nieces are my age.
Well, let me get my great-grandpa's journal here.
Yes.
My opinion is they already are.
Maybe they're not flooded by water, but they're flooded by something worse. Minorities. Jesus, Uncle. Jesus, great-grandfather Patton. I don't hear many stories of my great-grand family.
Yeah.
Well, there's probably a reason.
Yeah, there you go.
Because
He's a Nazi.
you're real right now. Very correct.
Though that was just a hypothetical journal entry. I don't feel that way. I love minorities. There's disclaimer.
Always a
Mo.
parenthetical.
Wait, so did you grow up in it's Fergus Falls? Right?
Fergus Falls, yeah. I grew up there as well. So I live probably a 7-minute bike ride from the hospital where I was born.
That's amazing.
Really?
Did you at some point move to New York or LA, or you never?
I moved to Minneapolis.
Oh, okay.
So my ex, she was my girlfriend at the time, ex-wife, then ex-wife, a lot of titles.
Yes.
She went to school down here. She got her master's down at the University of Minnesota, so we lived in Minneapolis. Cool. And this is actually where I started doing stand-up. I remember pacing around here the first night I ever did the funniest person in the Twin Cities contest.
That was the first time you did stand-up?
So every time I'd done it My friend signed me up for open mic without me knowing. Went up on stage, and I know that's not what this podcast is about because
okay.
I've told this. But then ate shit. Thought, well, if I write some stuff, it'll be better. It wasn't. So then I stopped, and then I signed up for the contest that next summer.
Damn.
I think more comedians have a start-stop than other, because I definitely had that. I had like started, tried to do half an hour on a stage at a bar while my friend's cover band was taking a break.
That was your first night?
That was my first attempt at stand-up.
Oh,
it was.
half
I
hour?
didn't even start writing material for that show until that day. That's how stupid and just arrogant that was. I was like, all right, I'll sit down a couple hours before and just kind of like figure it out. And then I drank a pitcher of Jack and Coke by myself and took half a Xanbar before I went on stage.
No.
What?
And I do not remember at all most of what I said, but I know I opened. The lead singer's name was Chad, and I know I opened my set by going, "Everyone, give it up for Chad. He's got a voice like a queefy pussy, right?"
God.
Was this Nickelback?
No. It was a band called McLeod. I think that's what they were called. Yeah, but they did they were a good cover band. But I thought that was, he's got a voice like a queefy pussy, and of course, no one reacted. And I do know that they sent the band back on like 8-9 minutes into the break.
But
Like they didn't even get their full half-hour break.
So bad for this
like, guys,
band.
put your cigarettes out and get the fuck in here.
What is this?
What year was that?
That was 1999.
So I just want to be fair,
I was
in
20 years
99,
old. Yeah.
a band with a lead singer with a voice like a queefy pussy was in. That was.
That's true.
They probably were able to cover everybody.
Oh yeah, that was the hot shit back then. And then it took me 2 years before I built up the strength to actually go to an open mic with jokes I had written. That's when I officially started, 2001. But like it took, I was shell shocked by that experience for years.
Yeah, it's traumatic.
Yeah, but what the fuck were we talking about? Because we went all over the map, and that's what I like about it.
You're talking about
Starting and stopping.
Starting and stopping,
And
yeah.
you being in Minneapolis. Did you always want to stay in Fergus Falls?
Yes, that's what it was.
No. So we lived here, and then she got a job, and she being again wife at the time.
Yeah.
Now we're to wife. She got a job at a private university an hour south of here.
Okay.
And then, when I was gone a ton, I was featuring, being the middle person in the comedy show, traveling around in my car. So I was gone, 10, 12 days at a time. And I'd get home and she was I could tell, just wiped out. And she was such a gamer as far as watching the kids when I was gone. And I know she's the mom, but I'm the dad. Normally there's the help there, and I wasn't. So I finally just go, there's a community college in Fergus Falls where we lived. I go, why don't you go on that website and see if they're looking for anyone in your department? And she pulled up what they were looking for, and it was basically her resume. And I was like, this is perfect. So then we moved back.
Yeah, that's a thing that's pretty great too, because you get taught, young comedians ask this sort of shit all the time, and you hear it, and it's like, where should I go, New York or LA, or what about Chicago, and I tell people nowadays, it's like comedy's so big. As long as you're producing quality, you can almost be anywhere.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And you're living proof of that. Like you're the guy that everyone fucking knows who has never lived in New York or LA. You've done your time out there. You've gone and visited and done spots, but you've done TV. You've got 2 billion spins on Spotify. Is that if it's not there now, it will be, I'm sure. And your albums, and you got your special, and you're doing every single thing that comedians we all aspire to do, but you're doing it from the fucking woods. And that's the best part. Is like you prove the idea that get good, but once you get good, you also got to be be comfortable, be
sure.
So where you can write and think and create from a truthful place, not just from because I don't always believe that being in the rat race is the best way to push yourself.
I can't do that.
Sometimes you push yourself in the wrong direction. Like the amount of comedians I've seen move to New York, and the mental stress of being a comedian in that city cracks them. and they're gone.
Right.
They're gone within a year or two.
I talk to people that are in New York that are fairly successful.
Yeah, and still like...
And they're still, they go, well, I do that. I write at this time, and then I go do sets, and then I get up and I write, and I go to auditions, and I go, yeah, but when do you live? What do you write about?
Yeah.
So I can't do that because I only write about what I do in my life. So if I'm not actually I mean, I understand that that's an existence in living. I get that, but I'm saying like for me, I couldn't do it. There's just no way.
I think that's one of the like most important lessons that you just start to learn as you get a little older is like, you know where your limits are. And instead of being like, I'm going to try and get better at that, you're like, nope, can't do it. I'll figure out another way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mine were forced on me. I mean, we didn't try to have our son.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops.
Never been more thankful for anything in my life, though.
How old were you?
We were 23 when she got pregnant.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So, and I just started. So I had done open mic here for 6 months and was going to move to Grand Forks, North Dakota, which is actually where my son is going to college.
Oh, funny.
But to do they had this house MC thing. There was a comedy club up there, and my audition week, I was like, who the fuck am I going to work with in North Dakota? My audition week was Mitch Hedberg.
Wow.
And it was right after he got his big development deal at Just for Laughs in Montreal and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was really stoked about it. And then 3 weeks into it, she called and she goes, hey, I'm pregnant. And I was like, no problem. I'll come back. And she goes, no, I won't need you till the third trimester. Just come back on your off days.
Okay.
Wow.
So when people ask me, they're like, so you can live wherever you want and do comedy. I'm like, you have to find the most supportive person in the world that also has faith in you. So good luck.
Yeah, and also, exactly. You also have to, and I imagine you have to push yourself harder in a way, because then you get around, because then you come to like the ACMEs, or you go to New York, or you go to LA, or you go to Chicago, and everyone is kind of already looking at you with who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Where's he from? Minnesota, Fergus. I mean, most people don't know that, and they don't know who you are, and then suddenly you get on stage and hit a fucking homer, and it's like, who's that?
Well, for me, again, it was forced because I had a son.
Yeah.
So for me, making money meant I had to get to these clubs as much as I could that were within reach, which meant I had to come up with new material, because I'd hear people like Lewis, the owner of ACME.
Yeah.
He would say like, well, you've done the same material for 3 months now. And it's like, okay, I got it. And so then I knew if I wanted to make more money doing comedy, I had to come up with more and more material. So
True.
again, it was like all forced by this chain of events.
Yeah.
But the best thing that's ever happened. I mean, it just worked out.
Okay, so this is maybe, I don't think I've ever actually told you this, but the second time I was here, it was during the semifinals of the Funniest Person in the Twin Cities, right?
Okay.
And the first time I ever did it, same thing. It was like the same month, back-to-back years. But what they would do was the host would go on, and then instead of a feature, you just had 5 contestants all doing shorter sets, and then you'd go on, right? And it was kind of funny because it was some people were decent, some people were terrified because it was actually their first time on stage. For some reason, the second year I did this, they threw you in as a ringer. You were like, I don't know what it was, but you were doing a 5-minute set on a couple of these shows.
Really?
Yeah. I think either you were taping 5 minutes to submit for something, or there was some legit reason, but I didn't know this because I would always watch. I always watch whoever's up before me, even if it's 5 people doing 5-minute sets. I just like to get a gauge for the room. And I was watching everyone be okay, and then you went up and just like cracked the fucking place in half. And I remember, and then I had to go right on stage after you, and then afterwards was talking to Derek. I was like, that fucking dude killed it. Like, that guy was so much fucking bad. Like, it was insane. And he was like, oh, yeah, you don't know Chad? So, but no one filled me in on this.
Oh, that's
It was
funny.
like, oh, they're putting up that guy's a pro, and you're going to have to follow him doing 5 minutes of pure fire. But it was just a moment of like, I remember being back here just being like, Jesus Christ, he's murdering. This dude just won the festival. He just won. So, Chad Daniels, will you
Tell us your story in
tell us
5 words.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Comb, coffin, rat, welt,
Okay.
bathtub.
Cool.
Okay, I know this. I mean, this is a lot of history involved here. But so the Daniels family, as Chad talked about, grew up Fergus Falls, but long lineage of Minnesotans, proud people. And what a lot of people don't realize, it was Chad's great-great-grandfather,
Bartholomew, yeah.
Bartholomew Daniels invented the comb, invented the modern hair comb as we know it now. Back before his time, everybody's kind of matted their hair down or wore a hat. Bartholomew took the upper jaw of a billy goat.
A billy goat.
I got a hold of his journal.
Right. And exactly. And just basically used that as a comb. It was the first ever comb, modernized, invented the comb as we know it.
And it became like a family heirloom, so we started to pass it down throughout the ranks of the Daniels family. Naturally.
And then went missing somewhere around your great Uncle Merle. Everybody heard about Merle Daniels.
Yep.
Great Uncle Merle, as everyone knows, was you can't choose who your family was, but he was a jealous man.
Yep.
He was a very petty man, and he hid it from everyone. He claimed it got lost in the Revolution. No one knew the Great Minnesotan Revolution.
Yep.
Back before there were 10,000 lakes. A lot of those lakes, as we all know, were a product of that revolution. Anyway, so the comb goes missing, but Chad, you get some insider information that he's going to be buried with it. Of course, he's an old man now. He dies soon after you hear about this, and you were at his funeral.
And you slipped your hand into the coffin as you went to go tap onto it and grabbed the comb because
it was where you heard it was going to be
by
a rat. A rat gave you some information. That, of course, was your great Aunt Meredith, who was not a fan of your Uncle Merle. She knew he was a bitter man and knew what he was trying to do with the lineage. So you got a hold of the Daniels family comb. People had assumed it was lost for years. Of course, you don't get far. Some of your Uncle Merle's henchmen get a hold of you.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Where's the goddamn comb?" And you're like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And they whip out, they're Daniels men, so they all have combs of their own.
Yep.
And they just start
wailing on you.
Wailing on you, trying to get you to fess up.
Yeah. Leaving the
welts
most weirdest shaped whelps
all over your body.
Yeah.
And
so you go home. Got to take an ice bath.
a nice bath.
An ice bath.
An ice bath.
Not a nice bath.
A nice ice bath.
To get rid of those welts. And then you take the comb, the original comb.
That they didn't find, by the way.
Did not find.
You
let them beat you up, but you held on to it. You took it to your great-grandfather Bartholomew's grave. And you placed it on top of the tombstone.
So that it would stay in the Daniels family.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I tell you guys something? This is not far off. I mean, there are parts in this story where I was like, God damn it, I guess I didn't hide it well enough.
Yeah, well, it's all you got to do is look up your Wikipedia page. This is right there.
That's true. And we come close.
Under history.
Every episode we come very close to the real story. We do.
Wait, what is so?
Yeah, what's the real story?
Well, first of all, I want to tell you that I don't know if you tried to do this, but when you said your rat the funeral, you said the word rat, which I thought was really interesting in that way.
Oh no, I didn't mean to do that at all.
So I didn't know if there were little breadcrumbs that you were leaving,
No,
but that was very interesting because I caught it and I'm like, holy shit, are they doing this kind of stuff with their storytelling? It's amazing.
Yes.
So the real story is I went to Chuck E. Cheese.
Completely different.
Well, there are some similarities, though.
Weird. All right.
I went to Chuck E. Cheese, and with my tickets, I was told I could not buy candy, so I bought a gigantic, and I'm talking probably 2-foot-long plastic Chuck E. Cheese cone.
Okay. How old were you?
I'm going to say 1.5 feet.
Yeah.
I was probably 4.
Oh, okay. This is little baby Daniels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was probably a regular comb, but you were so
was I?
small that you were like, it's very giant.
Well, hold on for a second. I couldn't have been 4. I can't remember how old I was, but anyways, I come out of the. Oh, okay. Here, so go in. I'm older at this point. I get a Chuck E. Cheese comb. I get out of the bathtub one night. My grandmother smacks me with a plastic comb.
Right.
Just to be fun, she pulled it back and hit my little. Now I'm 4. Hit my little baby 4-year-old butt cheek.
Right.
and it leaves a gigantic welt.
Oh, no.
Naturally.
So later on, I go to Chuck E. Cheese, get this giant comb. So I was kind of a dick when I was a kid, blah, blah, blah. I think all kids were a little bit. Yeah. My grandma, she's spanking me with a wooden spoon, and it breaks. And I cannot talk more shit to this woman about the fact that she's broken a wooden spoon over me. Like, you can't hurt me. So then she took out this this stirrer, this kind of soup stirrer. That it was a plastic spoon, but had a hole in the middle of it to get like the stirring going. And she used to use that sometimes, and that would leave a little welt on you.
No wind resistance either.
Right, exactly.
No.
Aerodynamic comes through, broke that.
Oh,
Damn,
wow.
dude.
So now I'm like, what are you going to do? You broke all your shit. She holds up this big giant comb, and I remember the comb from the bathtub, and I freeze in my tracks.
Oh, no.
So this woman, anytime she wanted to punish me, when she knew that I had... I'd bothered her so much that she wanted to spank me or whatever. She would just take this spoon out and flex, or this
giant comb
out and flex it a little bit. So she dies. I hide. So this is where you're kind of on the right track. I hide the comb in her coffin.
Really?
Yeah.
Has like a.
But like not. I didn't do a great job of hiding it because it was just kind of like where her hand was and then down her side a little bit.
Okay.
Well, it was a big comb.
It was a giant comb.
Yeah.
So now people are asking like, what is this comb? What is this trick? Does we need to leave it in there? And I was like, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
You absolutely, she gets buried with that goddamn thing.
Yeah. It's her Excalibur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cut to me as a just full-grown person. I'm a grown-up now. I walk into Chuck E. Cheese with families, right? My friends and their children. And one of my friends goes, "Oh, I've always loved that mouse." And without even knowing I was going to say it, I turned to him, put my finger right in his face, and I go, "It's a fucking rat." Because this comb has haunted me my entire youth. Yeah. So all these little kids look up at me like, why is he swearing about this fake thing?
Was
my God.
Wait, haunted you because you felt guilt for putting it in there? Or
Haunted me. I feared it.
Feared the comb.
Because she smacked me with this plastic comb when I was little, and then now had this, and I remember that well. I mean, she felt horrible, but she would flex the comb in front of me as like a settle down, and I knew it. So it was kind of our thing where I wasn't scared of the comb. I was just like, now I know that she's being serious.
Right.
So it's kind of our little secret communication as well.
And it was the big comb. I'm just making sure it was the big comb you got at Chuck E. Cheese.
So I got the big.
Yeah.
I told the story wrong in the beginning.
Oh.
There was the big comb that I got at Chuck E. Cheese that she would flex that I put in her coffin.
So basically, she used something you won at a Chuck E. Cheese as that which would
as
ultimately punish you and threaten and terrify you.
Yes.
There's some Greek/Roman tragedy in there. There's some Shakespearean twist to that.
Oh, there's a therapist about to make thousands of dollars.
Because at first I thought this was just a long-winded way to brag about how firm your ass is.
Well,
all
all
the spoons your grandmother broke over them. I love that. There's like a workout plan, the Chad Daniels ass building plan, like just a commercial of an old woman just cracking spoons.
Stiffen it up. Stiffen it up.
You want to be able to break any spoon over your ass? Chad Daniels.
You want tight buns? You're the Chad Daniels.
How do you get those tight buns? Oh, you ride your bike away from your house super fast when your dad's real mad.
Yeah. And later in life, from riding so many escalators at the airport. But that's that, dude. That is like okay, when you put it in there, because this is where I'm curious as to like when you put it in there.
Yeah.
Your relationship with your grandmother, was it like a fuck you, Granny, like a reminder, or more of like
no.
I respect you?
Oh yeah, it was definitely that.
Like,
it was like
because of you, I respect.
Well, I felt like it was more of a one last laugh for the two of us, and I thought she would have got a huge kick out of it.
Right. It's always those things that between you and that person
Exactly.
that piss everyone else off.
Right.
that everyone else is like, what the fuck are you doing?
Why didn't I have that?
Yeah. Why didn't Granny beat me with a? Well, because you probably got candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got dementia later on in her life, and she never screwed up my sister's and my name,
Right.
but everyone else, she'd just randomly throw out a wrong name once in a while, and we'd be like, "What's up? Sorry about that."
That's yeah. You got like my grandma got Alzheimer's. I remember it being like a while she was alive with Alzheimer's, but one of the things that it got to the point where she didn't know who I was, but it wasn't like she knew I was someone, she just didn't know who I was.
Sure.
And like she would go to work. My dad has a catering company; it's like a family business. She would go to work with him every day for it felt like a year, and part of my thing was because I worked for him at the time. I was like 20, 21 years old. I would drive her home every day, right? And every day was a half-hour drive, and she would talk to me in a way that was like, I kind of remember you, but don't. Like, it was very cordial, and she repeated herself a lot, but I was just like, this is part of it. And every day when we get home, I would have to bring her inside, make sure she was set up for the night, because she was still able to live on her own. And she would every day give me a check for $5. Right?
That's adorable.
And every day I would just she had like an old mailbox in the house that she just kept. And I would put the check back in the mailbox. I'm like, I'm not going to, I'm not going to take
cash a $5 check.
But yeah. So one day I bring her home like I do every day, and I'm like using the bathroom, and I come out and she's standing there with a handful of probably like 30
Holy shit.
$5 checks that she had written. Oh, just every day she's like holding them, and it just doesn't say anything. And she just holds them out, and I take them, and she goes, "You put those in the goddamn bank, and you do something with your life." And I was like, "All right, I'm sorry." And she's like, "You're damn right you're sorry. Are you hungry?" And then, made me a sandwich like she did all the time. But then, like, I just brought them to my dad. And I'm like, Grandma's been giving me a fucking $5 checks for 2 months now or whatever. It's like, I can't. He's like, it's fine, whatever. And he eventually, I think, just like added them into one of my paychecks one day. But like, it was a thing where I just was like, I can't take money from an old woman but then I was like, wait, but what's she going to do with it? I should have taken. Yeah. I should have proudly have taken. I should have negotiated more.
Is your old man still around?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait till one Christmas you get just a huge frame and it's all those checks.
Just all of them? Dude,
yes.
Oh, my God.
I would laugh. You see that? And there you go. Point taken. I would laugh like a fucking madman.
Yeah.
But I know relatives would be like, oh, Timothy, that's so wrong. It's my dad's name. And he'd be like, why? She was trying to pay him off for months at a time. But yeah, I should have negotiated more now that I'm thinking about it.
Anytime relatives go, that's not funny, it's just like, you're jealous.
Yep.
You're jealous you weren't
You're not
there.
on the inside joke.
Right.
Yeah.
What was your grandma's name?
Alice.
Because if we'd have nailed
hoping
it,
we'd get Bartholomew right there,
well, that was his great grandfather.
I know.
Well, wait. What did we say?
We said Meredith.
Meredith
And Merle.
Yep. Meredith and Merle. That's a sweet couple. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like that's
sounds like they toured with Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone in this room have living grandparents?
I have a living grandma, but I haven't seen her since maybe I was 12.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's on my dad's side and
Oh, you just don't?
kind of separate parts of the family, but she's alive.
Do you know what part
How old
of
is
the
she?
world?
I always thought she was like 2 hours from where I live.
Yeah.
But my mom told me she lives in the Pacific Northwest, I guess.
Oh.
Damn.
Which I never knew.
Yeah.
But
Do you know how old she is at this point?
she's got to be 80s, mid 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it'd be hilarious if she's like living in Seattle, just smoking weed.
Been to every one of my shows in Tacoma.
Yeah, every time you
Never said
go,
anything.
she's there in the back laughing. She's like, I can't. No, he doesn't need to know I'm here. She's just partying. It's like, he doesn't need to know. It's funny enough. Give me another Benson and Hedges.
God.
No, if she lives in the Pacific Northwest, she wouldn't smoke.
Be fascinating on her deathbed if she was like, I killed Cobain.
Yeah. I did it.
Solved.
No one expects Grandma. Not Alice. What's this one's name?
Donna.
No one expected Donna. I brought him his cocaine.
I love grandma names, man.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I want to get like a bunch of really tiny French bulldogs and name them all grandma names.
An army of Gwendolyn's. Wait,
What were your grandma's
Blanche?
names?
Sylvia and Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know. Virginia was 98. She died last year.
Wow.
But yeah, she was old.
That's a good run.
Sylvia was late 80s.
Okay.
89.
Okay.
So I'm going to live forever.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
My grandmothers were Margaret and Shirley, and they both died in horrendous ways.
Oh, no.
My grandma Margaret died of cancer, like lung cancer, but she died immediately. She did that thing where, when she got diagnosed, she's like, I don't want chemo. I just want to go. Mm-hmm. And we're like, all right. And it was like it was actually, I think, 11 weeks later. It was like,
wow.
And my other grandma, you know this story, but like my other grandma was in a home. She was pretty bad. They put her in a home by the time Katrina hit. And then my dad got a call a week and a half later where they were like, oh, by the way, we found, because they were missing. They were just like in the wind. Like there was a hole, because that was the thing. Like the storm hits and the home was like, don't worry about a damn thing. We're evacuating everyone. And it was like, it was a situation where I was like, all right, because we can't get to her in time. We can't get to the home. And they basically called, my dad got a phone call. I was like, she died during the evacuation and no one could get in touch with anyone. So we cremated her. So she didn't even get a funeral. My dad just went and like got the ashes. It was
so crazy.
The way he said it though was like, like it's a better because she'd been gone for years.
Sure. Was Timothy furious though?
Oh yeah, he was mad as hell.
I would think that
at
it's
the
like,
actual
what
home
the
itself.
fuck?
Yeah.
But he seemed pretty at peace with the death. He seemed like it was like it was the first time I remember being a human being to my dad. Okay. I was like mid-20s and we'd had like a tumultuous relationship for most of my life, but finally being like, hey, are you all right, by the way? And us having like a conversation about it, and it was like, that wasn't that hard. All it took was my, dementia-riddled grandmother to die while in the...
go missing.
to go...
Holy shit.
Yeah, but ultimately, hey, you can't choose how you bond with people. That's ridiculous.
I think you can.
I think you can actually. Yeah. I think you actually should.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it should be a conscious effort.
Yeah. I mean, well, thank you, Chad, for making the conscious effort to be part of 5 Words today. Yeah. It's meant a lot.
Yeah. Sorry, I brought up grandmas. Holy shit.
No.
No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is. It was a very interesting concept. I love it. She just went. So she had pancreatic cancer, but we couldn't explain to her because every day she went to bed, it would reset.
Oh, yeah.
So I had told her 10 times that she was sick, and she'd get real sad about it. And then I was like, I'm fucking done telling her she's sick, man.
Yeah.
And then I went in to visit her one time, and she goes, hey there, Chatter. Well, turns out I'm sick. I talked to the doctor, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So it finally stuck. But
thank God. Yeah, you just...
she just couldn't hear from you.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't want to keep redoing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the worst Groundhog Day ever.
Yes.
Tell your grandma she's dying. And go again.
Yeah.
And go again.
Yeah.
No.
And then you're like, this is supposed to have a humorous twist at some point, right? Because it's real fucked up.
I mean, there's a Sonny and Cher song on the radio, but fuck.
Yes.
It's not enough.
Yeah, I mean, I like, we all, these are the type of things we should be talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While we're here, though, there's a story behind this lamp, right?
I don't know. Oh.
Is there?
Really? Am I the only one that thinks this? Okay, I thought this was a lamp that Mitch Hedberg had brought in off the side of the road that never worked, and they just kept it in the green room, but it's never worked.
I've never heard that. That's very interesting.
Okay, I'll have to fact check this then.
I mean, I know these couches.
Try and see if it works. Maybe if it works, then I'm lying.
I know. Oh, there it is. That is a plug. You plug it in, and Mitch is just going to come back to life like a genie out of a... Hey, guys. I mean, all right, it's plugged in.
You know what I like? Lamps.
Lamps. Why? It's like light, but
Come
not...
Come on, man. You got to give me time to guess.
It doesn't work?
It doesn't work, no.
All right. I'll fact check myself, but I think that's the story.
I like lamps. They're like the sun that you can turn off. Hey, I'm sure his jokes didn't sound great the first time he said.
That's yeah.
Want to know how incredible he was? We went out to lunch once in Grand Forks. I was telling you about. And I ordered fries and he ordered mashed potatoes. And I go, you know what I like? Mashed potatoes. And he took his little joke book out and he wrote it down. And then that night he told a joke about, my friend goes, you know what I like? Mashed potatoes. And I was like, come on, man, you got to give me time to guess. That is the fastest quiz that has ever, whatever. And so my credits from then on until I got a real credit was he's part of a Mitch Hedberg joke. That's how you know you're an amazing comedian.
Yes.
When just the mere mention of your name, people are like, I'll listen to this guy for 2 minutes.
That's so funny.
That's also, like, you just saying that gave me, like, tickles down the back of my neck because I'm like, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
To be just like the guy. Yeah, like there's a Mitch Hedberg joke about you.
Well, yeah, I think he switched it up,
but still, that's pretty amazing.
He was the reason my brother and I started like bonding in high school because my brother would drive me to high school and he would put on Mitch Hedberg's album.
Unreal.
And we would just start laughing. And we were at that time where he was just like an awkward teenager. I was trying to be cool. We hadn't really connected in a couple of years, and then that like made us laugh our asses off. And
Unreal.
I'd just see him in the hallways in high school and be like, I'm afraid of picketing, but I don't know how to show it. We just like move on. It was great.
That's really incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there were times Mitch was having a horrible time at shows or something, and he was just like, fucking comedy, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you guys are bonding over his shit.
Yeah.
It's just, it's crazy.
Crazy.
It's one of those, like, I guess something we said earlier in the podcast, it's like, as long as you're putting quality out there,
yeah,
it'll find a home.
Absolutely agree. Yep. Somebody's gonna listen to it when they need to.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
And that is why we do this. I usually get emotional at the end of every episode, but
stop crying at the end of the episode.
Chad Daniels, you could check out all of his stuff on merledaniels.net.
Yep.
The Grandfather Diaries.
It's just a lot of, I sell a lot of combs.
Yeah, a lot of combs.
On merledaniels.net.
It's Chad Daniels, and I know because I built the website.
You sure did, and it is absolutely fantastic.
Built by the one and only Caitlin Cook, who builds websites. Are pretty great.
I'm gonna say not pretty great. They're absolutely fantastic.
I do. I have not.
I'm just telling you the truth.
Yeah, she built mine. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. You can go to chaddaniels.com for tickets and all that stuff, or you can go to Pandora or Spotify and listen. I have 5 or 6 albums on there or something.
And also, like, you tour a lot, right?
That's all I do, yeah.
So, like, see the dude, see the Chad Daniels. I guarantee I will personally talk to him about maybe giving you your money back if you don't like it. That's my guarantee. If you go see Chad and don't like it, hit me up. I will say, hey, Chad, what do you think about this? You probably won't get your money back, and you're probably also an asshole. But seriously, if you're not an asshole and you like great stand-up comedy, Chad Daniels is... you're like the Dickie Betts.
I don't know who that is.
You know who the Allman Brothers were? He was the guitarist for the Allman Brothers. Who...
He didn't read any music.
He couldn't read sheet music. He could just play. So he would just play.
I think he didn't even know what specific chords structures where he just like would hear it and then just
like he was just that much of a natural. He would just play and the
he
band
knew what string to touch to get what sound.
Right. And he could just play a riff and he'd be like, "What the hell was that?" He'd be like, "I don't know," and he'd just do it again and they had to write it down for him.
Yep.
Because he was just like, "I don't care, man. It's just who I am." This
is before the spectrum.
Right.
People were on the spectrum.
Yeah.
That's the genius.
Yeah.
You're like if you were a drummer, because I like to equate comedians to drummers now. I just decided that. You're the Danny
Glover.
No, you're the Danny Glover of drumming. No,
I sit on toilets and have people pull me off before a bomb explodes.
Yes.
I will say John Bonham. I'm gonna say John Bonham of drummers. Do you know who that is?
I don't. I know the name.
Yeah, Led Zeppelin. But
that's why.
No, I'm basically trying to say in a way that's anything but just straight out. Chad's amazing. Go check him out. And thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Per usual.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you.
That's not about